message to his people will be dispatched to the Prime Minister, the two houses of Parliament, and England's representatives in Ireland, India, and the Dominions.
It was all quite informal. The room was filled with a dignified, dull murmur. When I had signed the last document, I yielded the chair to my brothers, who in turn appended their signatures as witnesses in their order of precedence. The occasion moved me. Like a swimmer surfacing from a great depth, I left the room and stepped outside, inhaling the fresh morning air.
Edward has also written 2 notes to Baldwin. The Prime Minister had asked if there were any points the King wished him to include in his address to Parliament that afternoon. The first note expresses Edward's confidence that his brother will receive the full support of the Empire. The second, that Mrs. Simpson has consistently tried to dissuade him from abdicating. But significantly, Baldwin, during his historic speech to the House of Commons, fails to read out this second message. The next day, on December the 11th, at 10 o'clock in the evening, Edward speaks to his people for the last time. The whole country comes to a standstill.
This is Windsor Castle, His Royal Highness Prince Edward.
At long last, I am able to say a few words of my own. I have never wanted to withhold anything, but until now it has not been constitutionally possible for me to speak.
Edward's broadcast is heard in France, and Wallis listens to it from the villa in Cannes.
But you must believe me when I tell you that I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility and to discharge my duties as king as I would wish to do without the help and support of the woman I love.
As Francis Stevenson listens to the King's words, he realizes he's made a terrible mistake. When the broadcast is over, he writes to Wallis Simpson's lawyer, John Theodore Goddard, to try and withdraw his challenge to the divorce. But he's too late. An inquiry is launched by the King's proctor into whether Wallis colluded with her husband or was adulterous with the King. But his detailed investigations reveal nothing, and her divorce is granted. Baldwin's handling of the abdication crisis is viewed as a personal triumph. 5 months later, he resigns from office, leaving his successor, Neville Chamberlain, to lead Britain into World War II. In June 1937, Wallis and Edward are married, becoming the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. They are shunned by the royal family and forced to live in permanent exile. But Edward remains devoted to the woman for whom he sacrificed his throne, and he will later say that he has no regrets.